Hey, 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 hopefully we are up and running. Let me see. There we go. What's going on, everybody? We are back. This is great to see everybody. Jeb, Buckman, Bob, Bedbug, how's everybody doing? I am glad to see everybody, glad to be back, glad to be able to talk finally. For those of you who didn't know, I've been sick for like the last almost 3 weeks now. And finally can talk again, which is good. And just glad to be back doing some flying. You know, I couldn't record anything for a while. Obviously couldn't do this because I would just break out in fits of coughing, but we're back and we are in the Britain Norman Islander in Anguilla. This is fantastic stuff. I haven't flown this plane in forever. Mark Carter, how are you, man? Good to see you. Things are things are on the upswing. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. So let me go. There is external power supply. There is external power supply on. We'll go mixtures and props full forward. Master and battery switches on. I can't remember if I can do fuel pumps in this plane or not. I cannot. And I may still have the odd cough here and there, so apologies in advance, but we'll get through it. I haven't flown twice in 2020 in a while, and the head tracker feels a little odd, but let's see. All right, we got fuel. We need fuel. Fuel is important. There we go. We'll go mags on here. Oh, this is what we do here. No. We'll go mags on. And let's take a look outside. I don't know if this is like overly sensitive or if it's just my imagination. Alright. There's right engine, good start. Oil pressure is good. Left engine, good start. Close that. Oil pressure is good. We'll go fuel pumps off. Check fuel pressures. Fuel pressures are looking good. Lean the mixtures. Go avionics on here. Transponder on standby. I haven't done any small plane flying in a while either, so. Mark Cash, what's going on? Kenneth Ramos, how are you? It's fantastic to see you guys. It really is good to be back doing this again. And like a nice day for flying too. So we've got let's see here. Mixtures are lean. We'll release the parking brake. Go one notch of flaps here for departure. And we've got some big jets here. I don't know why. I don't think I have live traffic on, but maybe I do. Tap the brakes. Brakes are working. There we go. So, how's everybody been? How you guys been? Good to get the band back together. So, before I got sick, I was here in Anguilla, and they've got a new terminal that's being built right here. It's huge. I mean, it's huge compared to this anyway. So unfortunately, the next time I go to Anguilla, unless I go in like the next month, which I'm not going to, my favorite airport in the world, this one right here, is going to be gone, which is kind of a bummer. But I guess things move on, huh? When I was in Anguilla, I did get to see my buddy Wayne, who flies Islanders down here for a living, which was pretty cool. He's doing good. Yeah, what are you flying? You're not flying the... Is that an A340? But Anguilla, it's gotten crazy busy down here. The amount of development they have going on is insane. But let's see here. We've got... I didn't turn any lights on. We've got rotating beacon on. Let's go landing light. All right. Mixtures and props. Forward, fuel pumps are on, flaps are set. We're gonna go right here from the taxi. Excuse me, from the taxiway. And DA62. Alright. So voice is still not 100%. Alright, heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. First stop is going to be St. Maarten, if I don't crash. If I don't crash on the SU-57, what is that? Power back to 25 inches. Props back. Rolling some trim here. So, man, this is gonna be interesting being back in this plane again. One of the things about Sim Update 16 is they've got the definitely the rudder. You have to use rudder more now, which is cool. Oh, this looks good. This looks good. So, seems like there's some good crowds down here today. I want to go 1,000 feet. There's a nice little stutter. So I haven't flown Sim Update. I haven't flown Flight Sim 2020 since I cleared out all my caches. So I'm presumably not going to get good performance on this flight until probably a half hour in or so. I haven't flown 2020 in weeks. Well, no, probably since before I went on vacation. Actually, I probably haven't flown Flight Sim 2020 in a month at least. So trim in here. Why is me aeroplane tipping over? Yeah, see, you get some serious. I'm gonna get some serious stutters until this thing rebuilds the caches. But get a look outside. Everybody looking good. Age bones. Man, it's good to see everybody. Whoopsie. I keep my keep my speed down here. Keep my altitude where I should be. Aviation dude, what's going on? Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That's the I would have gone 2024 as well, but I'm in the beta, and so I can't. So I apologize for that. It's but hopefully once I'm really hopeful once Sim Update 4 comes out that a lot more people are gonna make the switch, because it's definitely gonna be worth it. So you even did a jeez. Wonder what that's all about. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've been doing all my flying lately has been in jets in either Europe or flying between Dallas and Atlanta all the time, because I've been doing all that testing stuff. And it's been fun, but like I haven't done my bread and butter in a while. I haven't flown down here in forever. And speaking of which, there's a new good airplane that I want to check out, or a new tempting airplane anyway, which is the classic 172 from Coronado. They did the Dakota, which I absolutely love, and the classic 172 is just such a cool airplane, and I really hope that they did as nice a job with that plane as they did with the Dakota, because the classic 172, it's from 1956, and it's got this really retro look in the cockpit. Like the It's got the round, it's got the like ovalish round yolks, you know, and like it's just a cool plane, and I'm really hopeful that they did a good job with that plane, because it would be a lot of fun to fly, just like putzing around, you know. So we shall see what we got here. I don't have, jeez, I don't have FS Realistic on. My plane is sort of acting kind of wacky. And I think anytime I leave the Flight Sim 2020 window, it just goes completely haywire. So I guess we'll not leave the 2020 window anymore. All right, power back to 17 inches. Props to 2100. We'll go a few pumps on. Go a few pumps on. Take a look down final. Oh, that's an A320. He's not gonna be happy with me. But what are we gonna do? Get back into flap range here. I'll see if I can stay out of his way. So this is gonna be my first Islander landing in a month. Blue Star Line, what's going on, man? How are you? There's no legends around here. If anybody's a legend, it's you, for crying out loud. How you been, man? 784 in the bin. Yeah, I mean that's the downside of a beta, right? Like all kinds of wacky things can happen. It's weird because I've seen some like some pretty intense like issues like that. I've seen people like that have, the sim keeps reinstalling all their packages and all that sort of stuff like you're experiencing, but most people, it seems to be working fine. I don't know what the fuel pumps are on, flaps are sort of set. You know, that's a bummer, because Sim Update 4 is great, especially with I'm cutting off this A320 right now. That's all right. Especially with the like the testing I've been doing, I've been finding some really good mixtures and props forward, finding some really good performance data for Sim Update 4. It's been running really nicely for me. But it's good to see you, man. Alright, let's go power out. Can I still land a small airplane? Not on centerline, apparently. Not on centerline, apparently. Mixtures and props full forward. How's my trim doing? Trim's doing okay. A few pumps are on. We'll go up one notch of flaps. And... whoops. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. There's 80 knots. Let's go flying. So... there's my test landing, my practice landing before we head to Saba. And I don't know if Peter's going to be around today, but my nemesis here coming up, Saba. The other thing that's a bit of a bummer, he says as he crashes, is that so SLH Sim Designs, I don't know if you guys know, I know some of you know, but SLH Sim Designs did a, released their St. Barts, but it's for 2024, so we don't have that. I tell you, the Sim's looking pretty good. too bad at all. Didn't they say that the 2024 maps are now in the are in place in 2020? I think they did. Because let's go flaps up, 100 knots, cruise climb. Because this looks pretty nice. I mean, I have to say. Fuck, man. Bugging the Super Viking. That's a cool airplane. That is a cool airplane. I am not trimmed for 100 knots apparently. Fuel pumps off, flaps are up. External power supply, I left that on. That wasn't too good. You can see the stability is still not like really solid. There's 2,000 climbing 3,000. Gosh, what a beautiful day. CRJ2, that is nice right there. Anybody hasn't tried it yet, if you're into regional jets, the why am I like pointing straight up? The Aerosoft CRJ V2 is absolutely awesome. If you're into regional jets, you will love that plane. And the cool thing about that plane is, or one of the cool things about that plane, one of the knocks on it is that it doesn't have VNAV. But I found, because it was sort of it was basically the first commercial jet that I flew, and I didn't know anything about flying jets when I started flying that, and having to, because that was basically the first like third-party jet release for Flight Sim 2020. But flying a jet without VNAV kind of teaches you to it teaches you to plan a little bit, you know. And like you have to be actively involved in, obviously, in managing the climbs and descents, and I found it really a great way to learn. And then when you switch to a plane like the 737 that's got VNAV, you know, coupled VNAV descents and approaches and all that, it just makes it so much easier because you know what's going on. So that's my story. Man, do I have some extra get up and go today? Or are you guys just waiting back to see if there's like parts on the runway after I land? But oh, and that's the other, yeah, so the other thing that kind of happened in this area since the last time we all flew together, was that WestJet thing at St. Maarten. And for those of you who don't know, there was a Canadian WestJet 737, it was a 737-800 that had a pretty much, I mean, more or less a gear collapse on landing. What, maybe 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, at St. Maarten. And my initial thought in looking at it was that it was just a hard landing. But it seems to be a lot of the people that know more about this than I do, more about that plane than I do. Hold on for 1 second, guys. I gotta take this call. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I had a phone call from my dad. But the, yeah, Kenneth, that's what they were saying. You know, there was a similar one up in Alaska Airlines, I think in Pacific Northwest. I don't know if it was Seattle, somewhere up there. They had an issue. And it was turned out to be mechanical, not you know, related to a hard landing. And it seems anyway like that that WestJet is going to turn out to be the same thing, although you just never know until the investigation is complete. But one of the funny things about especially about, you know, Part 121, like, you know, big planes. Yeah, the captain sure hopes so, that's for sure. But one of the interesting things about incidents like that, and thankfully everybody walked away, you know. And one of the things that I read a lot was from 737 pilots saying that they really could have wound up off the runway there with what happened, and that the crew did a really good job of keeping the plane on the runway. And there is no room. If you leave the runway, particularly to the right, you would wind up in one of my old hotel rooms. I mean, there's no room for area over there, and but they did a really good job keeping the plane on the runway, you know, and everybody got off the plane okay, which is what counts in the end. But what was funny is that, and I notice this a lot, I see this a lot, is that people who don't fly those types of planes for a living tend to instantly think they know what happened, whereas the guys and gals who do fly those planes for a living always say the same thing. They all say the same thing, which is, you never know. You just don't know until the investigation is complete. You don't know. And so that's it's gonna be interesting anyway, you know. And it's one of those things, I mean, they're kind of fortunate too that it happened when it did, you know, not in high season. There's Chevy, the old VA-62. That's a great plane. That's a great plane. But it's fortunate in a lot of ways, kind of the way that all worked out. So, oh yeah, Bob, when I tell you, like, if he had gone off the runway to the right side, especially with any sort of speed at all, I mean, they would have hit something that mattered. They absolutely would have. You know, FS Clips, what's going on? Yeah, well, you know what's funny? I mean, I don't often get a lot of time to go fly, you know, just to go fly for fun. And these Sunday group flights are my main outlet for, like, flying for entertainment, and I'm just glad to be back, glad to be able to talk. Yeah, don't slam it. Yeah, I might be giving an example of a freaking gear break right now too myself. So this one is always my nemesis. And we are on the move, 140 knots there a little while ago. We can just slow down here. Let me get fuel pumps on here. There, somebody else go in front of me. I prefer that. There's 115 knots. Fuck, man, bring it home. I'm gonna square it out a little bit here. And Smart Cache I have not, so I don't know. Oh, that's right. Isn't Windows 10 coming to an end, they say? I think I heard something about that. Which would be unfortunate because I have Windows 10 on one of my computers. Alright, let's get back into the white arc here. Alright, there's 2 notches. Full mixtures and props full forward. Fuel pumps are on. Flaps are set. And we're gonna go 70 knots here. Not supported in October. Uh-oh. Maybe it's still my work computer is my old sim computer. Like when I first started flying 2020, I had the GTX 1080 that I have in there. Alright, 70 knots. I'm liking this. Not really liking the nose up attitude, but alright, 600 knots over, or 600 knots, 600 feet over this rock right here. We're doing alright here. Even more power out. I can let the nose come down. Why do I feel like I'm high? Maybe I am. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't do this. Don't do this. Alright. There's power all the way out. Look at me, grease that one on. Oh man, that was one of the best Saba landings I've ever done. Which isn't saying much. Let me get flipped around here. Which is not saying much, granted. Get off the runway, watch some landings here. Man, everybody's gotten it on nice so far, looks like. I'm just gonna spin myself here. Alright, no pressure, guys. Just whoever's coming in. Alright. Go up 1 notch of flaps. That was pretty sweet. That was a pretty sweet landing. I was pretty happy with that. FS clips. So this is Saba. This is, I'll type in the, it is TNCS. This is actually the shortest commercial runway in the world. And it's a pretty sweet little airport. And this is the only Caribbean island that does not have a beach. There are no beaches on Saba. This is a diving island. Everybody comes here to go scuba diving. And it's just B787. He's not coming over here. But it's a cool island. It's a really cool island, and it's one of my favorite approaches. I stink at it. That was probably the best landing I've ever done here. So we're gonna put Bob on the spot here, coming in. And everybody seems to have done pretty well. I like that Super Viking. That's a cool airplane. Alright. Bob is up. A lot of action out here today. Yeah, FS clips, sure thing. Wilhelm von Fahrzeug Newton, what's going on? You got a phone number for me? Shoot. Call the tower. Never had that happen. Although I just heard that you can. I didn't realize you can. Well, I suppose I realized you can, but I had a friend of mine who got banned from VATSIM for doing something that would not necessitate a ban in my opinion. But there we go. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. I wonder why it's not showing the Islander for model matching. But meanwhile, my engines are boiling. And Bob made the taxiway, which is pretty sweet. That's not easy to do. All right, let's get at it. Left my fuel pumps on. I left my what's the word I'm looking for? Mixture's rich. I did everything you're not supposed to do when you're sitting on the ground. So, yeah, like I was saying before, SLH Sim Designs, who I was gonna see in Anguilla, and I didn't get a chance to see him, just released his version of St. Barts, and it looks unbelievable. I have it for 2024. I just haven't flown it yet because I haven't been flying. So there we go. Mixtures and props full forward. Toes on the brakes. Power coming in. Power is set. Christian, what's going on? How are you? And engine instruments in the green. We're getting off here at about 70 knots or so. I tried one time just rolling off the end of the runway, and you crash when you do that. So, one of the coolest departures in the sim too. They're always a fun departure. Alright. Let's see. I'm gonna get some trim in here. Should have left the trim right where it was. There we go. Look at that. I mean, is that a cool... For those of you who don't know Saba, this is a really sweet place to fly. It really is. Alright. Bring the flaps up. Let's turn the fuel pumps off. I don't know why the lights are on, but they certainly seem like they're on. Alright, whoopsie daisy. There we go. Alright, flaps are up. Did I turn my fuel pumps off? There we go. Alright, let's get the nose down here a little bit for cruise climb. Heading off for St. Barts. But the SLH Sim Design St. Barts looks so good. His attention to detail is insane. So I'm really looking forward to more people moving over to 24 so we can start flying 24. Christian, just saw your video on Sim Update 4. How do you get frame gen on with half refresh? I am setting it in Sim Update 4 itself, actually. There's a max frame rate setting in the settings for Sim Update 4. I think it came out with Sim Update 3, actually. You used to have to do it in the user CFG file, but now they actually have a setting. And I think I show it in the video. I'm pretty sure I do. But so I have a 60 hertz monitor, so I just set my max frame rate at 30, and then I turn frame gen on and it doubles it to 60. I do have VSync on as well, so I sort of have both things going, but if you don't use VSync, even if you do, you can just set half your monitor refresh rate in the sim, in Sim Update 3 or 4, and you should be good to go. And it saves a ton of VRAM, brings your frame rates, it brings your frame times down a lot. One of the things that I'm going to do a video on pretty soon, we're also so like into frame rates, like FPS. Frame time is what it's all about. Where am I going? Am I going to the wrong place? Where's St. Maarten? Okay, no, I'm good. I'm good. I can't really see. It's kind of hazy. Ah, okay, never mind, never mind. I was looking at that's the Class Delta cutout, or Class Charlie cutout, I think, for St. Barts right here. They have this VFR corridor, they call it, right here to get between Grand Cass and St. Maarten, and between Grand Cass and St. Barts. So lean out the mixtures here a little bit too, why not? Ash Collins, the criminal mastermind, Cash Collins, getting banned on VATSIM. I'm just kidding, Cash. You're not a criminal mastermind. I didn't know you couldn't do medevac stuff on VATSIM. I've seen people do dumb things like simulated emergencies at really busy airports, and they keep like taking up all of the controller's time with like their simulated emergency. I've seen people do stupid things like that, but I didn't realize that medevac stuff they were touchy about. Kind of funny. That's cool though. I mean, medevac is a neat thing, actually. Neat thing to do. You were released 3 hours later. Released from VATSIM jail. Let's see. Could you update that? Could make me move over to Sim Update 2024. Yeah, I mean, FS Clips, that Sim Update 4 is like, it's so much, the performance is so much better than Sim Update 3. It's even, it's like goofy. I mean, it's just crazy good. Sim Update 4 is really nice. Kenneth, did you hear the news? Yes, I did. I did see that. I mean, I'd be curious to know what Puerto Ricans think of that. You know, I mean, I don't like to get into topics like that. You know, and I'm not like, you know, being critical of you for asking, but you know, the whole, they'll, you know, it gets into politics a little bit, and politics is like the least interesting thing in the world, you know. But yeah, I did see that, and who knows, you know, I wonder if they're just down there like, you know, hanging out at the beach, or that's crazy, you know. The world has gone wacky. Is it just me, or is the world gone wacky? You know, I think everybody just needs to relax a little bit. You know, we live in such a confrontational world, and it's like even like in the small everyday, you know, it just seems like the world is much more confrontational nowadays, which is not cool. Half and half, yeah. But I mean, you know, just generally speaking, I mean, I don't think blowing up boats in the Caribbean, like, is really a great plan. I mean, you know, it's just wacky. I don't know. I don't know. But hey, so we were down here. My wife and I were in Anguilla for 8 weeks. Yeah, right. 8 days. It was right last week of August, and what a spectacular time. just kind of reignited like my love for this area. It's just such a beautiful part of the world, you know, and Anguilla is just an amazing place. Yeah, right. I mean, oh, you fly airliners, you know, that's for FS Clips. That's an interesting you know, part of this is 'cause I've seen a lot of that sort of stuff, like read a lot of stories about GPS spoofing and jamming and stuff like that, and like, you know, I mean, that sort of stuff is scary, you know, and you know, you're doing that to civilian airliners. I mean, you know, you're putting people, you guys have a hard enough job as it is, you know, without stuff like that going on. And I just, you know, it just seems like we need to, I don't know if it's, you know, I liken it to this, right? Like, you know, I don't know what, like, it was actually probably before COVID. There was one year where it was like the year of shark attacks. Like, the only thing you saw in the news the entire summer was shark attacks. Like, a shark attack here, a shark attack. They were probably like 10 shark attacks in the entire world. But we got obsessed with it, and everybody was, you know, everybody was covering it, and that was like the big thing, right? And it seems like that kind of coverage happens to something once a year, you know, regardless of what the subject matter might be. And like, everybody gets all agitated about one particular thing, and it's always in the news. And like, I don't watch the news anymore because I just want to maintain my sanity. Fuel pumps on, mixtures forward. But like, it seems so it's hard to tell whether like all the stuff with civil aviation, whether there really is a lot more going on. You know, like, to me, I mean, I'm a Cherokee pilot, I'm not an airline pilot, but like, to me, I don't really think, it doesn't seem like there's a lot more, you know, like incidents and accidents and things like that happening. It just seems like they're getting covered more. It's, you know, kind of started with that thing in Toronto, and then you got DC, and now it's like everybody's all over this now. But then you see this stuff like the GPS stuff, and it's like, it's not cool. It really isn't. So it's, oh, Schmarkash, so what they do, that they'll black out GPS signals, or they'll send fake GPS signals. And I mean, FS Clips might be able to describe it a little bit better than me, but like, in a nutshell, like, they can basically black out GPS, you know, and or like send signals to mess with it. And you know, and it seems to like happen for, you know, like a brief period of time, and then, you know, for like a couple hours, and then they'll stop, you know. And it's, you know, usually the usual suspects, right? Like, Russia's been known to do it, and you know, Russia does it in, like, you know, like not the Balkans, like, you know, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, they'll do it up there, and they'll do it like to Finland, and of course they say, oh no, we didn't do that, it's not us, but like, you know, yeah, so there's all kinds of like weird stuff going on. But that sort of thing, I don't find particularly cool, because you're putting people's lives at risk. You know, still waiting for me to take the hop to Dominica. Dude, Cash, I'm telling you, one of these days I'm gonna knock on your door. You're gonna be surprised. Fuel pumps are on, flaps are set. Where is Sugarloaf? There's Sugarloaf. Oh, speed is feeling good. Trim here, get the nose up. Alright, get the nose up just a little more. Dominican Rat, what's going on? I'll see you too, man. I would love to go to Dominica. I really would. The problem is we don't get the opportunity to get away as often as we'd like to, and we love Anguilla so much. It's kind of hard to peel us away. Wheel mixtures and props full forward. Fuel pumps are on. Flaps are set. Yeah, you lose your GPS signal. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's just stuff like that is not cool. Bring a little bit of power out here. The old nose up. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you guys have a tough enough job to begin with without people doing stuff like that. Alright, power's all the way out. Drop the nose. I can't see over the nose. Alright. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Words you don't want to hear from your pilot. Whoopsie. Hey, my Chica's back there. Alright. So that one wasn't too bad. That one wasn't too bad. I feel like my pitch attitude is like too far nose up. Brakes. Not a problem. I feel like my there's cash in the 414. This is gonna be a good one. 414, not a problem for cash. A little bounce there. Nothing I haven't done. But so this is the airworthy design St. Barts, and they did a good job. I mean, I think they did a good job, but there's zero doubt in my mind that SLH Sim Designs will do a better job. Need the mixtures here a little bit. You know, I mean, we're starting to get spoiled for choice. You know, I remember when the Sim first came out, and there was like nothing in this region. Obviously, I mean, it's not really the first place that. Not really the first. The Caribbean isn't like. People don't obviously think flying, you know, but it's a great place to fly. It really is. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's FS Clips. You are correct. You are correct. Let's do that. All right, let's get our take a look at our trim here. Trim is nose up. I'll take that for this departure. Flaps are set. Fuel pumps are on. Mixtures and props full forward. Let's go check out. The next one is actually SLH Sim Designs, which is Grand Cas. Biggest plane that can land there. They've had. I've seen a. What was it? I've seen a 414 land here, but I'm sure that the Twin Otter is bigger. You know, but yeah, I would say probably the Twin Otter. And the one thing about this runway that you don't, I mean, you can see it a little bit here, but you can't see it like in real life or in the like in videos or whatever. You can see it somewhat here. This is really sloped downhill. I mean, this runway is like really sloped downhill. You know, so it's challenging. But it's wild watching the Twin Otters make this turn off right here, which is Charlie. And they do it all the time. They're so good. It's ridiculous. Engine instruments in the green, airspeed's alive. And I've done this approach and landing in real life one time. And the way I would describe it is it feels like you're getting dropped off the side of a building. It really does. I mean, I'm sure if I did it like, you know, 5 or 6 times, you get used to it after a little bit. But the one time that I did it, And I have a friend of mine who flies this airplane, well, not Anguilla Air Services, but he flies Islanders and down here, and he flies into St. Bart's all the time. I mean, he can land the airplane literally on a dime. You know, it's pretty impressive, but it's crazy to watch. It's crazy to watch. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you know, FS clips. You're so right, and I've thought about that too, many times. Like these, and just generally speaking, like not that what you guys do is easy by any stretch, but you know, these types of, you know, like the Twin Otters and the Islanders and things like that. Even like in Europe that fly these types of planes, like, you know, the small commuter type stuff. I mean, they're in the weather. You know, they're not getting over top of the storms. They're, you know, and it's, I tell you, I mean, I'm sure you know, like small airplanes in hot weather, like it's not comfortable. It's not like riding in a car, you know. And that's the one thing I tell people is like riding around in small airplanes in hot weather is just, it's brutal. It's so hot and it's so uncomfortable. And like my buddy who flies Islanders, he was telling me that during high season sometimes he'll do 12 round trip legs between Anguilla and St. Maarten in one day. I mean, that's 24 landings and, you know, 6 or 8 hours of just 10-minute hops, you know. And it's got to be so, I mean, you got to be so exhausted after that, you know. It's just crazy, but it's a lot of fun to pretend. That's for sure, you know. A lot of fun to pretend. You know, of course, you know, I'll fantasize about doing this for a living and how much fun it would be. Probably isn't as much fun as I think. You know, but yeah, he'll do like 12 round trip legs in a day. That's 24 landings, you know. So the funny thing is, and I've told this story before, anything less than 10 knots at St. Bart's, they land the other way. They'll come in, even if it's a tailwind, they'll land 2-8 just because it's just easier. And he says that if he tries that landing that we just did, if he doesn't make it the first time, he goes home. He doesn't try it a second time, because if he you know, he's so, I mean, he's got, I think he said close to 6,000 hours in the Islander now. And when I tell you, if you walked out and put a quarter on the runway and told him to put down the main gear right on that quarter, he could do it without question. And if he can't do it on the first try, it can't be done. He just goes home. It's crazy, you know. But the Caribbean pilots are a different breed. I mean, they have a lot of, you know, because a lot of these islands, they don't have like a flat convenient place to put a runway, you know, and they got to put it where they got to put it. And some of the approaches are pretty wild, you know. C90 landing in St. Bart's. Ooh, I gotta look that one up. Well, yeah, I guess with beta you could probably do that, right, with the beta props. The coolest thing I've seen land at St. Bart's was the Beach D18. That was cool. That flew down from my neck of the woods too. That flew down from Connecticut, and they landed in. They flew, I think, from Florida to Providenciales and the Turks and Caicos, and then from Providenciales to St. Bart's. And I mean, landing a twin engine tail dragger at St. Bart's is pretty wild, you know. Some cool stuff. Yeah, Kenneth, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And it's you know, that's the other thing is like people talk, you know, people who aren't really familiar with aviation, you know, they're like, oh, this, you know, small planes are so dangerous, you know, and like the reality is, like the amount of time that people fly and like nothing ever happens, you know, like every once in a while something does and everybody gets all worked up about it. But like the amount, the level of skill, and like I mean, you know, there's a lot more room for error, I think, than people sometimes appreciate. You know, I mean, these planes can take a little bit of abuse, you know, but I mean, flying in this part of the world with all that with you know, the salt water. I mean, I can't imagine what the engine maintenance must be like, you know. And it can get turbulent like it is right now. Either that or I just can't hold the plane straight. What am I doing? Do I have realistic turbulence on my mind? Realistic turbulence is not realistic. Oh, that was Cash who said that. I thought it was Kenneth who said that. Sorry, Cash. That's another great airplane, the Grand Caravan. I got to see my favorite cargo ship while I was in Anguilla, Muddy's Pride. That was a good time. I like these weird things that I enjoy seeing. There's a cargo ship from Anguilla that goes from Anguilla to St. Maarten and then down to St. Kitts and back every day. And I just love sitting there watching it go by at 6 in the morning with my coffee. I kind of like people who get to do things like that for a living. Like like I'm sure the captain of that ship has probably spent 35 years doing the same thing, and I think there's something romantic about that to me, you know. Yeah, FS clips, absolutely. I tell people all the time, the most dangerous part of your trip is driving to the airport by a long shot, you know. But I mean, I know people that, you know, and I'm sure you do too, that I'm sure everybody does, that would never get in a plane like this, you know. And but I mean, yeah, but like you said, like you just get in the car and go somewhere. Never think twice about it. And you should. These cars are dangerous, you know. There we go, fuel pumps on. FS Clips, what plane do you fly? Out of curiosity. One of the about a year ago, my wife and I stayed right here, right on the edge of right on the beach here in Grand Cas, and I had a great time watching all the small planes come in and watching how they did it. That's another cool plane, Cash, the 414. There's a second notch of flaps. A320 series. They're growing on me. I never liked the Airbus, but they're growing on me. I've been flying the Phoenix a lot because I'm in Sim Update 4 beta, and it doesn't, the PMDGs don't work. But generally speaking, I'm a Boeing guy. In real life, I'm a Cherokee guy. But anyway, the small planes who come for this runway, they aim right for the end of this beach right here, and then they'll just cut it in. Just aim right here, and we we stayed like right here on the beach. It's cool. Grand Cass is a cool place. It's this is the village of Grand Cass right here, and there are so many good the restaurants are ridiculous because it's fresh seafood, obviously, and this is France. It's literally France, and so you've just got these amazing seafood restaurants. We'll go mixtures and props full forward and bring power back just a tiny bit. Get rid of some of this speed. Not that much. We stayed like right here somewhere. So much fun. It was cool. It's a kind of a like rough and tumble. You know, it's not a lot of people who come to Grand Cass. They'll come here for the restaurants, and like they'll come for dinner from the Dutch side, and then they just go home. They don't stay, you know. But we stayed here for a week, and it was fantastic. 80 knots is good. Wind is dead. No, let's not get too slow here. Fortunately, you can't get too slow in the Islander. I hate landings like this. I hate dragging it right over the numbers with no power and no speed. I hate doing that. Not my favorite type of landing. Yeah, the Phoenix is really good. It really is. Once I got used to it, it's a lot of fun to fly. And one of the things I like about the Phoenix is it's very easy to like just hop in. I always do turnaround state, like no matter what jet I'm flying. But I just like you can hop in, load it up, and get going. You know, it doesn't take a lot of time, which I kind of like. I mean, I like doing, you know, setting up the FMC and all that fun stuff. They've done like the SimBrief integration and all that stuff to the point where it's pretty easy to do. And I like that. This is SLH Sim Design's Grand Cass Airport. This is a great little airport. I love this airport. It was so much fun standing here watching, or you know, staying here and watching all the planes come in and out. They get a lot of ATR traffic here. And I'll tell you one nerdy little note about this airport. So this is the only place in the world the ATRs that fly out of here will back taxi to right here. They turn around and then they throw their props into beta and push themselves back. The only airport in the world where the planes actually reverse before takeoff. Because they want every inch. Pretty funny. Looking good. Man, I always have everybody in my flying crew you guys always fly better than me. Embarrassing. Alright, mixtures and props full forward. Fuel pumps are on, flaps are set. Hey, FS Clips, man, have a good flight. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. It's good to see you. Hopefully we see each other again. Hey, absolutely. It was my pleasure. Take care. You get the Phoenix when somebody gifts it to you. You never know, Cash. You never know. I mean, it is expensive. I mean, and I wanted the 321 too, so I had to. So I mean, it was like, well, what is it? $50 for the base and $50 for the 319, 321. Hey, nice. What's going on? Let's put in a little crosswind correction here. There's 70 knots. And rotate. You can sort of see it in this view, but this hill is freaking huge in real life. It really is. Alright, let's go. We gotta bring our props back here so we don't annoy people on the beach. RTX 5068. Yeah, nice. Absolutely, I think you'd get away with that. You know, you would probably have to run it on medium settings, but yeah, Flight Sim 24, in my opinion, is easier on your hardware than Flight Sim 2020 is. You know, I get better performance out of Flight Sim 2024 than I do out of 2020. That's, yeah, expected performance. Always know what your expected performance is, and then you can tell when you're not getting it. So I was wondering why I was going 100 knots in level flight, because I had my flaps down. Go fuel pumps off. Check our fuel pressures. Fuel pressures are good. Fuel pressures are good. Hey, more right rudder. What's going on? Vacation was phenomenal. Vacation was absolutely amazing. You know, like every trip to Anguilla is great, but there are some trips that like they just remind you why you love the place as much as you do. And this was just, the trip was just like perfect in every way. I mean, the first couple of days, the weather, we had. What was was it Gabrielle, the storm that went up the east coast of the U.S.? Like, we got some rough seas from that the first couple days, but like for like the last 5-6 days we were there, the seas were perfect, the weather was perfect. Ate a lot of good food, saw a lot of we've been going there for 12, 13 years now, so we know a lot of people on the island, and it was nice to see everybody. It was just phenomenal. We didn't want to come home. We literally didn't want to come home. You know, like I could move to Anguilla so easily and just be done with it. But unfortunately, I'm not independently wealthy, therefore. So you used to, Cash, I'm sure you know, like in Dominica, they have these, a lot of Caribbean islands, they have these programs where if you buy a property, you can get residency, right? And eventually citizenship, which a lot of people do. And in Anguilla, in Dominica, it's 200. If you buy a property for I think $200,000, you get residency. In Anguilla, like 5-6 years ago, it was 250,000. Now it's 750,000. Like, really? So ain't doing that anytime soon. SLH Sim Designs, what's going on? Speak of the devil. I was just talking about you. I was just showing everybody your Grand Cast scenery. And for those of you who don't know, SLH Sim Designs did this airport, Anguilla, which is his home airport, and he is my favorite scenery developer in flight simulation. And I was hoping to get to actually meet him in person when I was in Anguilla, but we just didn't get a chance. Someday we shall. I'm hoping to be back in December for my birthday, but we'll see. But good to see you, SLH. Hope you're doing well, man. Bring the power back here. And why are we climbing? I don't know why. I was saying at the beginning of the flight, like by the time I get back to Anguilla, I'm fairly certain the old terminal building is going to be gone, which is really kind of a bummer. And why am I climbing? I have no idea. Anything I can do with the Phoenix A320 for better realism? I don't really know. I mean, I'm a casual A320 flyer. Like I don't really know a lot about the plane. I don't know if there are any mods out there, but like you can do you can do failures and all that stuff. I don't really know a whole lot of kind of extracurricular stuff for that plane. I mean, with the update that they just did, it's supposedly very, very realistic now, the flight model. like the flare modeling and landing and all that stuff. Of course, I couldn't I couldn't land the thing to save my life when they did the update. Let's see. Be full flaps, not yet. We'll go full flaps. Gonna keep enough power in to keep 80 knots here. And I actually should post some videos because I got a video of, one morning we were hiking kind of right along here. There's a shipwreck down there. And about to be a plane wreck. And I saw, I don't know if it was an Aerojet maybe? I can't remember what it was coming in. But they, you know, it's starting to get to be some jet traffic in Anguilla nowadays. Nice. I have a 12,700K and 3080 Ti, which is 12 gigabytes of VRAM. And I mean, I've resisted the urge to upgrade just because, I mean, it's, you know, it's an easy solution to performance problems, but you know, especially with the kind of content I usually do, I like to be able to, let's go mixtures and props. Well, forward, fuel pumps on, flaps are set, seat belts are secure, pre-landing checklist is complete. I just like, I think there's plenty of life in the 12 gigabyte card right now, you know, so I'm sticking with it. But I know plenty of people are getting good performance out of 8 gig cards. Let's see, I'm running a little hot. We'll bring some power out here. Alright. A little bit of a floater. Not too bad. Did I just go past? Oh no, it's okay. Okay. I was just wondering if I'd just gone past the taxiway. I mean, it depends. Nice. It depends on what you're doing with it. You know. I mean, it certainly can. But the funny thing is, like, people with 5090s, which has 32 gigabytes of VRAM, I don't think I've ever seen somebody with a 5090 that's using more than, like, let's say 14 gigs of VRAM. I really don't. There's a P-28. Oh, that is a great airplane. You know, so I don't think, I don't know, it depends, I guess it depends on what they're running. But I don't think you need a ton of VRAM to get decent performance out of Flight Sim 24. To me, Flight Sim 24 uses less resources than 2020. Keep an eye on some landings. Aged Bones has got a greaser going right there. That's a nice landing right there. Oh, Pizza More, that's awesome. That's a great plane. I love that plane. There comes Bedbug. Yeah, that's a great plane. I like that one. Yeah, I would think, nice, I would think 8 gigs is enough. And for the, excuse my cough. For those of you who didn't hear at the beginning, so the SLH Sim Design, who's in the chat, this is one of his airports. And it is my favorite airport in the world. Favorite airport in the world. I'm gonna be sad. So I'm gonna be sad when this terminal building is gone, which is gonna be in the next couple months. Over and find a place to park here. Where am I going? I'm crashing through everybody here. I think I'm coming down in the end. What do we got? About an hour and 15 minutes worth of flying. That's pretty good. I'm surprised I was able to talk that long. Alright, mixtures to idle, cut off, throttles are idle. Parking brake set. Let's turn our transponder off, even though you don't really need to do that. Avionics master off before the mags come off. We do have to put our flaps up before we turn. Oh, I did. When did I do that? I don't know. Turn our fuel pumps off. Turn our lights off. Master and battery switches off. Pretty good, actually. I think we're in good shape. We'll go chocks and boarding steps. And we'll go doors open. There we are. Looking nice. Looking nice. That was a good time. Oh, Cash, you got the 12 gigs too, huh? Yeah, I mean, I think... Yeah, I agree, Cash. 12 gigs is enough. I mean, is, you know, you got money to throw at it. You know, 24 is not going to hurt you. I think 18 would be more than enough, but... Hey, Buckman, I appreciate it, man. It's good to see everybody again. I appreciate everybody's patience. I had, I mean, this is easily the first day, I would say, that I've been able to talk without coughing all the time, which is nice. But it's great to see everybody again. Glad to be able to do this again and get some flying in, you know. And thanks to everybody for coming out. Really appreciate it. Hey, Moray Rudder, same to you, man. I appreciate it. You guys are great. Cash, way over the requirement. Yeah. Oh no. So I had the 1080 on my old machine with I don't remember how much that had. 8. Hey Sheb, same to you, man. Good to see you. Take care. We'll see you next week. And Bob, absolutely. That was a good time. No, I even managed to grease Saba, which is not normal. But of course Peter missed this one. Hopefully he'll watch it back and see my brilliant landing at Saba. But hey, Schmarkash, absolutely, man. Bedbug, appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. Thanks so much. Nice. Ja, ich habe doch jahrelang in Deutschland gewohnt. Weiß nicht, ob du das weißt oder nicht. Bist du Deutscher? But yeah, good day. Good day of flying. Yeah, I mean, you can get decent performance out of pretty much anything if you don't go too crazy with your settings. Nice, ja, ich hab paar Jahre in Hamburg gewohnt und ich habe auch in Berlin gewohnt. Es ist schon lange her, aber ich habe noch ganz enge Kontakte in Deutschland, ganz gute Beziehungen zu meiner alten Gastfamilie. Ich bin Austauschschüler gewesen in Hamburg und dann habe ich in Berlin studiert. Aber ja, das letzte Mal, dass ich in Deutschland war, war 2019, glaube ich. Aber es ist langsam Zeit, wieder heimzukehren nach Hamburg. But, wo kommst du her? Wo bist du? Get to exercise my German a little bit. Hamburg, yeah, Hamburg. Mag Hamburg sehr gerne. Ganz coole Stadt. Yeah, exactly. If you don't ask too much of it, you know, it'll get you through. But so anyhow, I'm gonna go. Kommt aus Köln. Ich hab ganz gute Freunde aus Köln. War mal 1995 war ich in Köln. Oder nee, war das 99? Ich glaube, es war 99 war ich in Köln. Ganz cooler Stadt. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get back to reality. I gotta go see what my lovely wife is up to, and nice. Wenn du Lust hast, komm mal bei meiner Discord. Kannst du mal vorbeikommen? Mit mehr schnacken. But yeah, I'm gonna let everybody go. I gotta go check the situation here at home, see what's going on. Buckman, I appreciate it. Bob, nice. Cash Collins, good to see you guys. Sheb, really appreciate it. Bob, Bedbug, Morite Rudder. I love that name, by the way. It's still great. SLH, good to see you. You guys are fantastic. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming out. And yeah, if I don't have time to do it on Wednesday, we'll be back again next Sunday. So everybody take care. Have a good week. Sheb, you be good. And appreciate it, guys. Really grateful to see everybody again. So take care, guys, and we'll talk soon.